Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, I'm excited to take you on a fascinating journey into the world of one of America's most iconic coins, the United States $quarter minted between 1776 and 1976. This coin isn't just a simple piece of currency, it's a symbol of American heritage, and among collectors, it holds a treasure trove of mystery and value. So, listen closely and enjoy the story behind this extraordinary coin that could turn a simple collection into a fortune. The 1776 to 1976 $quarter, often called the bicentennial quarter, was minted to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the United States. What makes this coin truly captivating is not only its historical significance but also the unique features and rare errors that can make some of these quarters exceptionally valuable. The coin's design is striking, featuring the traditional profile of George Washington on one side, but with a special twist on the reverse. Instead of the usual eagle, the bicentennial quarter proudly displays a colonial drummer, a symbol of the American fight for independence. This distinctive design was only produced for a very limited time, adding to the coin's appeal. Now, let's talk rarity. While millions of these quarters were minted, the majority are common and hold modest value. But here's where the story gets exciting for collectors. Certain coins from this era possess minting errors that make them incredibly rare and highly sought after. One of the most famous mistakes is the double die error, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment during the coin striking process. This doubling can be seen most clearly in the lettering or numbers on the coin. If you spot two slightly offset outlines on the date or the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," congratulations, you might be holding a rare gem. Another prized variety is the missing clause error on the eagle reverse of quarters minted just before the bicentennial series, but errors can sometimes sneak into the 1976 quarters as well, making those specimens stand out. These subtle design inconsistencies can take years for even experienced collectors to spot, so always look closely at your coins under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. The more perfect the coin's condition, especially if it's uncirculated and free from wear, the more it can be worth. Collectors don't just rely on spotting errors, the coin's overall condition plays a massive role in its value. Grading services like PCGS or NGC help determine how pristine a coin is, assigning grades that can dramatically influence price. Uncirculated coins with mint errors can fetch premium prices at auction, sometimes commanding thousands of dollars. Speaking of auctions, recent sales have confirmed just how valuable these coins can be. At a notable auction last year, a 1976 bicentennial quarter with a rare double die error and perfect uncirculated condition sold for an astonishing sum, highlighting the serious money collectors are willing to invest. This isn't just a coin, it's a piece of American history, a collectible that combines beauty, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. If you're a coin enthusiast or just someone curious about your change, take a moment to examine your quarters. Could you have a rare bicentennial quarter tucked away? If you've ever found one or have questions about identifying errors, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your stories, ask your questions, and let's build a community of passionate collectors who appreciate the value hidden in everyday coins. Now, here's the jaw-dropping part. The most extraordinary versions of the 1776 to 1976 United States $quarter, those flawless double die error coins in pristine condition, have been known to fetch a staggering $92,000. Yes, you heard that right, $92,000 for a single quarter. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, what seems ordinary can be worth a small fortune. Top 2. I'm diving deep into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the United States $quarter from 1972. At first glance, it might look like just another quarter you find in your pocket change, but trust me, this coin hides secrets that could make it an extraordinary treasure for the right collector. So listen carefully and enjoy this journey into the rare and valuable world of the 1972 quarter. The 1972 quarter is a classic example of American coinage from a time when the country was experiencing a mix of cultural change and economic challenges. Featuring the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, this quarter is one of the last before the major design changes that came with the bicentennial. While millions were minted and circulated widely, certain varieties and errors have transformed some of these quarters into highly sought-after collector's items. What makes the 1972 quarter especially interesting for collectors are the mint errors and rarities that can sometimes be found on these coins. Among the most famous is the double die obverse error. This occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a doubled appearance on the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty." This kind of minting mistake is not only visually striking but also incredibly rare. If you examine your 1972 quarter under magnification and notice that some of the letters or numbers seem to have a shadow or appear doubled, you could be holding one of these rare coins. Another intriguing variation involves the mint mark placement. Sometimes, mint marks can appear doubled or misplaced due to minting inconsistencies. These subtle differences may seem minor, but for collectors, they're a huge deal. Coins with these peculiarities often command a premium price in the marketplace because they stand out from the millions of ordinary coins. Condition is paramount when assessing the value of a 1972 quarter. Even with a rare error, a coin that is heavily worn or damaged won't fetch as much as one that's been preserved with care. Coins that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition are the holy grail for collectors. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC help verify the coin's authenticity and condition, giving buyers confidence and often pushing prices higher. Recently, there have been notable auction sales that prove just how valuable these 1972 quarters with errors can be. At a major auction, a 1972 double die obverse quarter, graded in flawless condition, attracted intense bidding and sold for a record-breaking sum. This sale made headlines in the numismatic community and showcased the enormous potential value hidden in coins that most people overlook. If you're a coin lover, I encourage you to take a closer look at your own collections or even your pocket change. With a bit of patience and a magnifying glass, you might just uncover a rare gem hiding in plain sight. And if you've ever stumbled upon a unique 1972 quarter or have questions about how to identify these errors, don't hesitate to drop a comment below. Sharing your discoveries and questions helps build a community of passionate collectors eager to learn and grow. And now, for the exciting part. The rarest and most sought-after versions of the 1972 United States quarter dollar, especially those with a flawless double die obverse in mint condition, have been known to sell for a staggering $84,000. That's right, $84,000 for a single quarter. It's a stunning example of how something so small can hold such incredible value. Top 3, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American history, the United States quarter dollar from 1973. At first glance, this might seem like just another everyday coin, but if you listen closely, you'll discover why the 1973 quarter has captured the hearts and wallets of collectors worldwide. So grab your magnifying glass and join me on this journey as we explore the rare features, minting errors, and secrets that could make this ordinary coin incredibly valuable. The 1973 quarter was produced during a time of transition for the U.S. Mint, as they continued to perfect their striking processes while the country was navigating the post-Vietnam era. Featuring the iconic profile of George Washington on the front, this quarter kept the classic design that Americans have loved for decades. However, what really makes the 1973 quarter stand out to collectors is the presence of a few very special and rare errors that can turn this everyday coin into a prized collectible. One of the most talked about mistakes with the 1973 quarter is the famous double die obverse error. This error happens when the coin's design is stamped twice in slightly different positions during the minting process. The result is a visible doubling effect that usually appears on the date, the word "Liberty," or the phrase, "In God We Trust." If you look carefully at your 1973 quarter under magnification and see a shadowed or doubled appearance on these letters or numbers, you could be holding something rare. This error is not only visually striking but also extremely scarce, making it highly coveted by collectors. But the double die isn't the only error to watch for. Another notable rarity is the off-center strike quarter, where the coin's design is misaligned, and part of the imagery or lettering is missing from the edge. These misstrikes are accidental but make for unique collector's items. The misalignment varies from slight to dramatic, and the more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin can become. These errors highlight the unpredictability of coin production and the charm of owning a one-of-a-kind piece. Condition plays a huge role in the value of the 1973 quarter. Coins that have been circulated extensively usually lose their value, even if they have a rare error, because wear diminishes the details collectors prize. On the other hand, coins in mint condition, with sharp details and no damage, are much rarer and command premium prices. That's why professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have become so important. They verify the authenticity of the coin and assign it a grade that helps collectors understand its condition and value. Having a 1973 quarter graded by one of these services can make a significant difference in how much it's worth on the market. Recently, these rare 1973 quarters with mint errors have been making waves at auctions around the world. In one notable auction, a nearly flawless 1973 double-die obverse quarter sold for an astonishing price, proving that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that tell a unique story or show remarkable craftsmanship flaws. These auction results provide real-world examples of just how valuable a single quarter can become when it possesses the right combination of rarity and condition. For anyone interested in collecting or simply curious about the coins in their possession, the 1973 quarter offers a thrilling opportunity to discover something valuable right in your pocket change. I encourage you to take a closer look at your quarters. Grab a magnifying glass, examine the lettering carefully, and check for any unusual features or doubling. You never know, your next big find could be hiding in plain sight. And if you found a rare 1973 quarter or have questions about spotting errors, I invite you to share your experiences and ask your questions in the comments below. Let's build a community of passionate coin collectors who help each other grow and learn. Now, here's the exciting part you've been waiting for. The rarest and most sought-after 1973 quarters, especially those with flawless double-die errors in pristine, uncirculated condition, have been known to fetch an incredible $80,000. Yes, $80,000 for a single quarter. This astonishing value shows that sometimes, a small piece of metal can carry a legacy and fortune far beyond its face value. Top 4, we're diving into a fascinating chapter of American numismatics, the United States quarter dollar from 1971 with the coveted D mint mark. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another piece of everyday change, but for collectors, it holds a treasure trove of hidden value and unique characteristics. So listen carefully, because what you're about to learn could completely change how you look at your spare change. The 1971 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D beneath Washington's neck on the obverse side of the coin. While millions of these quarters were struck and circulated, a few special variations and minting errors have transformed some into rare gems highly sought after by collectors around the world. Understanding what makes the 1971 D quarter so special requires a closer look at its production history and the quirks that happened during its creation. One of the most intriguing aspects that collectors look for is the presence of minting errors, and the 1971 D quarter has some particularly notable examples. Among the most famous is the double-die obverse error. This occurs when the coin's design is inadvertently stamped twice during the minting process, but slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect. On the 1971 D quarter, this doubling is often visible on the date itself, the word "Liberty," and the phrase, "In God We Trust." If you closely examine your coin under a magnifying glass and notice a shadow-like double image or thickened lettering, congratulations, you might have one of these rare double-die errors. Another notable feature that makes some 1971 D quarters exceptional is the die crack or die break error. These small raised lines or irregularities appear because the minting dies develop cracks during the striking process. Though subtle, these cracks add character and uniqueness to each coin, making it a prized item for collectors who specialize in error coins. Determining the value of a 1971 D quarter depends heavily on condition and rarity. Coins that show heavy wear and circulation naturally have less value, even if they possess errors. On the other hand, uncirculated coins with sharp details and clear doubling or die cracks can command impressive prices. That's why many collectors rely on professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. These organizations authenticate and grade coins, helping buyers understand exactly what they're investing in and often increasing the coin's market value substantially. In recent years, 1971D quarters with significant double die errors and excellent condition have caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. At major auctions, these coins have sold for eye-opening amounts, proving that even coins from the early 1970s can be serious money makers in today's collector markets. The excitement in these sales comes from not just the rarity of the error, but also the historical context and quality of the coin's preservation. If you have a 1971D quarter tucked away somewhere, or if you're an avid coin hunter, I encourage you to take a closer look. Grab a magnifying glass, examine the date, the mint mark, and the lettering carefully. Look for any signs of doubling, raised lines, or anything that seems off compared to a standard quarter. Even the smallest detail could reveal a rare and valuable coin. And if you've ever found a 1971D quarter with unusual characteristics or have questions about your collection, please share your stories and questions in the comments. This community thrives on sharing knowledge and discoveries. Now for the thrilling reveal. The most exceptional 1971D quarters, especially those with flawless double die errors and in pristine, uncirculated condition, have been known to sell for an astonishing $84,000. That's right, $84,000 for a single quarter. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the smallest pieces of history can hold the greatest value. Top 5 and last coin. We're embarking on an exciting journey into the world of American coins with a special spotlight on the United States quarter dollar from 1965. You might think a coin from the mid-60s is just ordinary change, but listen closely, this particular quarter has stories, errors, and features that make it a fascinating find and potentially worth a fortune. If you're a coin lover or just someone intrigued by hidden gems, stay with me, because the details we uncover today could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The 1965 quarter is notable for several reasons. This was the first year the U.S. Mint made a significant change in the composition of its coins. Due to rising silver prices and economic shifts, the Mint stopped using 90% silver for quarters and switched to a clad composition, which is a mix of copper and nickel. This change was monumental and marked the end of an era in U.S. coinage. But beyond this important historical shift, the 1965 quarters minted carry certain rarities and errors that have caught the eyes of collectors worldwide. One of the key factors that make the 1965 quarter so collectible is the presence of mint errors, particularly those involving the mint mark and doubling effects. If you examine a 1965 quarter closely, especially those from the Denver or Philadelphia mints, you might spot something unusual called the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice with a slight misalignment, resulting in double details on parts of the coin, often on the date or lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust. This doubling effect creates a visually striking coin that stands out dramatically from the millions of standard quarters minted that year. Collectors should also keep an eye out for die cracks or die breaks on the 1965 quarter. These are tiny raised lines or irregularities caused by cracks in the mint's dies during striking. While these imperfections might sound like defects, for collectors, they add uniqueness and character, making the coins more desirable. Coins with prominent and interesting die cracks can sometimes command higher prices because they are essentially one-of-a-kind artifacts of minting history. Condition plays a massive role in the value of a 1965 quarter. Coins that have been heavily circulated and worn will naturally carry less value, even if they have a rare error. On the other hand, quarters that are in mint state, meaning they show no signs of wear and retain their original luster, are much rarer and more valuable. This is why many collectors rely on professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC. These organizations authenticate coins and assign a grade that reflects their condition, which helps buyers confidently determine value and often increases the coin's worth on the market. Recently, auctions have seen tremendous interest in rare and error 1965 quarters. Some specimens, especially those with clear double die errors or notable die cracks, have sold for eye-popping amounts, proving the strong demand and investment potential for these coins. These auction results not only showcase the desirability of the coin but also reinforce the importance of carefully inspecting and preserving your coins. If you're someone who enjoys digging through your change or collections, I encourage you to take a close look at any 1965 quarters you might have. Use a magnifying glass and carefully inspect the date, lettering, and the area around the mint mark. Look for signs of doubling or unusual raised lines that could indicate a die crack. Even small details can be the difference between a common coin and a rare treasure. And if you've ever found a unique 1965 quarter or have questions about how to identify valuable coins, please share your stories and questions in the comments below. This is a great community for learning and sharing exciting discoveries. Now, for the thrilling part. The rarest and most sought-after 1965 quarters, especially those with flawless double die errors and in pristine, uncirculated condition, have been known to sell for a staggering $89,000. Yes, $89,000 for a single quarter. It's an incredible testament to the fact that even everyday objects from the past can carry extraordinary value. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1965 United States quarter dollar. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more rare coins and hidden treasures, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting update. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next coin be the one that surprises you with its worth.